Hello everyone and welcome back to Meeple Leaf Reviews. My name is Jeffrey.
Hey guys, I'm Jacob.
And we're going to be doing another review. Today it is Thrash'n Roll. Thrash'n Roll. So, how did this end up here?
So this was a game you were going to Essen, and this was an Essen release in 2015. You asked me if
You wanted anything?
If I wanted anything, so I went online. I was just kind of like looking what was coming out. Came across this game. Said, hey, that looks interesting enough. If it's under this price point, pick it up for me, bring it back.
Yeah.
And you did, and we played it, and here it is.
All right. So, let's go ahead with the review.
Yeah.
So art and components.
Right. I really like the art style. It's kind of cartoony, but grungy cartoony, I guess. I don't know how to do that. But
it definitely brings out the whole thrash metal band feel.
Yeah.
I mean, the art style, I'm not a huge fan of it, but it definitely fits with the theme
exactly,
of the game.
Yeah.
The components, they're okay. I just feel the cardboard's a bit flimsy. The
cards are a little thin, yeah, for sure.
But other than that, I mean, it's pretty good.
Tokens and dice are all decent quality.
Now, this is kind of a bigger segment than normally is, rules and teaching.
Yeah. The rules are pretty rough. They made lots of mistakes in the rule book, and the rule book doesn't match up with the actual player board. The rules are kind of all over the place as well. If you're trying to find a specific rule, it's very challenging.
Yeah. But they did come out with an updated rule book,
right?
Which you can get online. But the rule book, as it is in the game, is a little tough to get through.
It's pretty bad.
And also the teaching the game. There's two different types of there's three different types of cards, but there's two: the fan cards and the scandal cards, and how you can use those cards. There's lots of different ways to use them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't come with a reference sheet, but I mean, you can just go on to Board Game Geek, print one off, and I would highly recommend doing that because, like fan cards, there's like 5 different ways that you can use them, and if you're just always going to be flipping through that rulebook trying to find it all, it's going to be really tough.
Yeah, there were some people on Board Game Geek that made out reference sheets for these. Like Jeff said, you definitely need to print them off because there's lots of little ways that you can use them that aren't intuitive.
Yeah. And going on to also like learning the game for the first couple times, the symbology is just a little hard to follow sometimes.
It's cramped together.
Yeah.
Like the symbols are fairly obvious what they mean for the most part. It's just that they come in these long strings rather than having a huge paragraph of what actions you can do here. It's just 9 or 10 little symbols all smashed together in a little thing, and you're like looking across the table going, oh, what are all those things doing?
Yeah, with your first game, you're just staring at the board, trying to go around, because it's in like a circular thing, so the ones across the board from you are right side down, are right side up, and then the ones right next to you are upside down.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just a little bit hard probably for your first game.
Yeah. There's like a couple things that aren't intuitive. There's a plus symbol that they use, which means and then. It means after you've done this first part, then you do this next thing. Whereas you think it's part of what you're doing, and it's not. Yeah. So it can be a little tricky trying to figure that out.
Yeah, but once you get it, it flows smoothly. Theme.
Yeah, I feel that there's theme in here. You're going to the recording studio and you're making a single, or you're making an album. Yeah. You're going over to this venue over here and you're playing and you're getting experience from playing there, and you're gaining fans at the same time.
You go to the radio and you promote your single.
Yeah, exactly.
Or trash somebody.
Exactly.
Somebody else.
Yeah.
So
I think it's extremely thematic.
Yeah. Every action that you take is definitely well steeped in the theme of the game.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot of fun. It really brings the theme into the game as you're playing. You can make little quips, little jokes. Or one thing that I used to do, or the first time I played, was you name your single, and maybe you even sing a little bit of it, or do like a guitar solo or drum solo for your song. You know, it's cool.
Yeah. So gameplay and mechanics. So the game is a dice rolling worker placement game.
Yeah.
But where I think it kind of differs from a lot of them is I don't really feel constrained by my dice rolls.
No,
really. I mean, whatever I roll, I don't really care. I'm going to be able to do whatever I need to do because you can take scandals to add a virtual die that's any face, or you can discard those fan cards. One of their uses so you can add virtual die. So really, where it distinguishes itself is you don't feel constrained at all. It's just about how am I going to use these dice to do what I want to do.
Yeah, as you're using the dice, you're either making sets, so 3 2s or 2 2s or 6 2s or whatever, or you're making a run, 1 2 3 4 or whatever. And so it doesn't really matter what you roll because you're either going to have sets or runs.
Yeah.
It's rare that you don't have anything, and then you have multiple ways to get those virtual dice.
Yeah,
so you're never really constrained by anything except in maybe 2 of the spots where you need 5 dice or 4 dice to take a certain action. That might be a little trickier to get, but everything's open.
Yeah, and like I said, all the actions are really cool. There's so many different things that you can do. Like you can make the single, you can make an album, you can promote it, you can go on tour, you can get all these new support cards to help you out, and stuff like that. So a lot of very different ways that you can go about getting points.
Yeah,
but it all kind of ties into you want to be getting those singles or those albums out because you're going to score for those at the end of each of the round. Whoever has the best.
Yeah, one thing that can be a struggle in the game is if you fall behind.
Yeah.
Then it can be tricky to catch up. You really need to keep pace with, there's a singles chart, top 10 singles, and you want to be in the lead of that or be at least on the chart, because if you're not on the chart, you're not scoring, and you score those every round. Same thing for albums. The albums is a top 25, top 30 chart or something like that, and as long as you're on there, you're scoring that every single round. But if you're taking 3 turns to get on there, and it's like a 5 to 7 turn game, 6 to 8,
mm-hmm.
and if you're not on there, then you're missing out on those points every single round. So you need to get on there. You need to keep pace with everyone else, whatever they're doing.
And the other thing, I think there kind of brings in some player interaction. I don't feel there's a whole lot of blocking on the action spaces. There's
ways around it.
Yeah, there's ways around it. And if you can't take the most optimum thing you can do, well, there's probably another really good thing that you can do as well. But where I think the player interaction, not really interaction, but you need to be aware of what other players are doing, is at the end of the game, you're going to be scoring points for whoever has the most famous of their different band members.
Yeah.
So the drummer, the bass player, the lead guitarist, the singer, whoever has the majority of fame on those guys is going to get 20 points.
Yeah.
And then the next is going to get 12.
And then 6.
So you really need to be looking out, well, what are they doing, and trying to get those majorities for those guys, because it's huge points at the end.
Yeah, it's a big scoring game. This last one, Jeffrey scored about 290.
Yeah.
So it's a big scoring game, and at the end of the game, that's worth potentially 100 points right there. So that's huge. You need to keep pace with that as well.
Yeah. So, it's a really great game. I love the worker placement. I love the little twist on it where, it's not like something like Kingsburg where if you rolled 2 1s, you're just like, well...
No, that's it. I don't get to do anything this
Exactly.
time.
Whereas here, rolling 2 1s or 2 6s is exactly the same. Because
rolling 6 1s is awesome.
Yeah. You don't really feel constrained. There's just the same thing.
Yeah. So I would say the one thing I didn't like about the game, or one other thing that's a little finicky, is that there's a lot of point salad, I feel like, in this game, especially end game. The last part of the game, the very last round, you're probably spending about 5 to 10 minutes doing end game scoring, calculating everything up.
I think,
especially if you had multiple players.
Yeah, I think the more players, the longer it takes. Definitely the more you play, the quicker you can run through that in-game scoring.
Yeah.
Probably with the 2 of us, it was probably like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Going through, and we've played the game now 6 times.
Yeah, 6 times. Yep.
So yeah, definitely the first time you do that in-game scoring, it's going to be a bit long.
Yeah.
But other than that, I really like this game. It's really solid. One of my favorite dice rolling worker placement games.
Yeah, it's really cool. So are we going to move on to final rating?
Sure.
Okay.
I can't remember what I gave this, so I'm just going to quickly look it up.
I am giving this game a 8.1. This game is really cool. There's lots of different options going on there. You never feel constricted, as we've been saying over and over. And it's just a real cool dice worker placement game oozing with theme.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it.
I gave this one a 7.9. Then that's kind of, I'll probably want to play this. I probably won't turn it down. The times where I will probably turn the game down is if there's going to be
4 players.
4 players, because it could go pretty long. 2-player games we were playing in like an hour.
Yeah.
And also, teaching the game, I can definitely see it's going to be a struggle, especially if you're playing with multiple new people. It's going to be a lot of questions. What does this mean? What does that mean? What does this mean?
Yeah, there's definitely a barrier to entry in the game, and that first game is you really have to take it as a learning game.
Yeah,
because you're gonna struggle through it.
Anyways, that's Thrash and Roll. If it sounds cool to you, check it out.
Yeah, make sure to like us and subscribe. Also, check us out. Follow us on Twitter @MeepleLeaf. And thanks for watching.
And we'll see you guys next time.